it's Miss Sims here. I am super excited to be starting today in art with you. We're going to have a little creative design challenge, which I think will be really fun. We're also going to learn a little bit about the different elements of art and really what we're trying to learn throughout the whole school year. So I want to give you a big picture of all the things that we're going to learn about. Let's go ahead and get started with that first. So the most important thing we're going to learn are the elements of art, and we are going to practice these elements in every single project that we do. The 7 elements are color, line, shape, form, texture, value, and space. I'm going to give you a packet here in the next couple weeks that's going to have worksheets to really help us practice these, so don't worry if you don't know what they mean yet. Just like the elements of art, we're also going to learn about the principles of design. There are lots of different principles of design that we can look at, and they help us figure out why some images look so cool. For example, if something has emphasis, there might be something in the middle that helps it stand out. We're going to try and make all of our work look really, really good, and the principles of design will help us. One of my favorite parts that we're going to do is learn about master artists. And these are super famous artists that we can look at their artwork and try and see if we can make something similar. We're going to look at artists like Vincent van Gogh, Georgia O'Keeffe, and many different people who were super inspirational. But sometimes there's not just one artist we want to know about. There's so many artists, and that's why we're going to look at artistic regions and cultures. This just means we're going to look at groups of art that all have things that are similar. For example, in Spain, there's a lot of art that has bright color and geometric shapes. So we can look at art from the country of Spain without having to look at just one artist. Depending on what grade level you're in, you might be learning different things, but that's okay because everything is going to be really cool. Now that you kind of have a little bit of an understanding about what we're going to learn in art, we can start on our project. This is just a short little practice. We're going to use 2 of the different elements of art, and that way we get a little bit of an understanding before we really start these worksheet packets and start practicing all these different parts. Today we're going to be working on a project called Creative Circles. It's very similar to scribble art, but a little bit more advanced. You have to think it out and plan it out a little bit more than regular scribble art. I'm excited. I hope you're ready. Let's go ahead and get started. We have 2 goals for today. The first goal is to practice being creative. You'll know you were successful if you completed at least 8 of the circles. Don't worry, I'll give you the instructions soon so you know what I'm talking about. Our second goal is to use shapes and lines to create your artwork. Make sure that when you fill in some of your circles, some of them use shapes, some of them use lines, or you could use shapes and lines inside. Before we get started, you're going to need a sheet of paper. Make sure it's kind of a big sheet of paper, at least regular size, like not a really small scrap piece. And you're going to want something to draw with. You can choose if you want to color this in or not, but at the very least, you at least need a pencil. So the first thing we need to do is set up our creative circles on our sheet. Use your marker, your pencil, whatever you have, and make some medium-sized circles across the top. You should have room for about 4, but make sure that they're not touching each other and that they're not touching the edges, so there's space in between. Once you finish that, you're going to go ahead and make another row of 4 circles in the middle. And then, once you finish that, we're going to do it one more time, and we're going to make a last row at the bottom of 4 medium-sized circles so that they're all spaced out, ready to be used. Now we're ready to create. Our goal for today is to use as many circles as we can to come up with different objects. It's similar to scribble art, but you have to think of things that always use a circle. For example, right now I'm going to make a donut because that's one of my favorite foods. I put a smaller circle inside of the big circle, so that way I used a shape. Remember, that's one of our goals is we have to use shapes and lines. And then I kind of colored it in so that you can see it's a donut, and I put some sprinkles on top. You can also color outside of the circle. So for example, I'm going to draw a sun in this one so you can see that the sun rays are going on the outside of the circle. That's totally fine. That's why we left space in between. For the next one, I'm going to use some more different shapes. I'm using circles on the inside again, and then I'm going to use some lines as well, some straight lines and some curvy lines, because I am going to make an eyeball out of this. Now, you can see with this, it's kind of hard to tell that it's an eye, right? So this is when adding lots of details is going to be helpful, and adding lots of color is going to be helpful. Here's me adding some more color and details. Make sure as you're going you do at least 8 of your creative circles. That's one of our goals. And that's it. I hope you enjoy making your different creative circles. Please make sure that you finish at least 8 different circles. So if you do a sunshine in one, please don't do a sunshine in any of the other circles. They should all be something different so that you really have to engage your creative mind to finish this project. Make sure when you are done, go back to the assignment on Google Classroom, take a picture of this and upload the picture to the assignment. That way I can see who finishes the assignment and I can comment back to you and see what you came up with for your unique designs. That's it. I hope you have an awesome day and I'll see you next week.